I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but by the content of their character. This is a part of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech, who has fought for black people's rights. Today it is Martina Navratilova or Serena Williams, Mike Tyson or Andre Agassi, a white or a black. How does it matter? All of them are bringing glory to the country by giving millions of Americans reasons to celebrate by the content of their character as dreamt by Luther one day, just like the black and white piano keys that are sounding in million hearts of the country. Good morning students, welcome to SST So Simple tutorial. Today we will discuss the following topics: politics of social division, 3 determinants, whether political expression of a social division is beneficial in a democracy, how do these social divisions affect politics, and what does politics do to these social divisions. Democracy involves competition among various political parties. This competition tends to divide any society. If they start competing in terms of some existing social divisions, it can make social divisions to political divisions and lead to conflict, violence, or even disintegration of countries. To give you an understanding, let me give you a small example. We know that there may be social differences because of our religions. We have Hindu communities, Muslim communities, Christian communities, and so on. So, social difference has led to social division. Now you watch the political atmosphere around in the country. If the leaders start politics on such a kind of social division, what will be the consequences? Certainly political division. These leaders are partially successful sometimes, as we have to see sporadic incidents of violence here or there. So I am repeating again. Social difference leads to social division. Social division leads to political division, and political division will lead to conflicts and violence in a country. I will deal with 2 real-time examples now. First of all, let us see the case of Northern Ireland. This region of United Kingdom has been a site of ethno-political conflict for a long period. Do you know the location of Northern Ireland? Okay, I will show you the map. Here comes the map of Europe. This is United Kingdom, comprising of Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland and England. You can also see Republic of Ireland and towards its north, Northern Ireland. The people of this country are mostly Christians. 53% are Protestants while 44% are Roman Catholics. The Catholics are represented by nationalist parties who demand that Northern Ireland be unified with the Republic of Ireland, which is predominantly a Catholic country. The Protestants were represented by the Unionists, who wanted to remain with the UK, which is predominantly Protestant. Hundreds of civilians, militants and the security forces have been killed in this fight between Unionists and Nationalists and between the security forces of the UK and the Nationalists. So, it is visible clearly that social difference led to social division. Social division led to political division, and political division led to violence in the country. Violence stopped only when the UK government and the nationalists signed a peace treaty called Good Friday Agreement in 1998. Thereafter, the Irish Republic Army also signed an agreement with the UK government in 2005 and gave up its armed struggle for a united Ireland. So, happy ending in Northern Ireland case. I hope you have understood the story nicely. The second example is from Yugoslavia. There has been political competition along religious and ethnic lines here. Yugoslavia got disintegrated into 6 independent countries. So you will not find Yugoslavia in the map today. You can see Yugoslavia in 1989 and in 1992. So there is a sad ending here. Looking at these examples, people say that politics and social divisions should not be allowed to mix. But the fact is that social division of one kind or the other exists everywhere. And wherever they exist, they will definitely be reflected in politics. It is natural that political parties will talk about these divisions. They will make different promises to different communities. Social divisions have affected voting pattern in many countries. People from one community tend to prefer some party more than others. In many countries, there are parties that focus on one community. Now let me go to the next topic, the 3 determinants. What are these 3 determinants? These are the factors that decide the outcome of politics of social division. This means if differences are there, they would lead to social divisions or not. These depends on some factors. What are those factors? We shall discuss here. First of all, how people perceive their identities. Second, how political leaders raise the demands of any community. Third, how the government reacts to the demands of different groups. Let us start with the first factor, how people perceive their identities. That means how do they see themselves. If people see their identities in singular and exclusive terms, it becomes very difficult to accommodate. What are these terms? Singular and multiple, inclusive and exclusive. In a pluralistic society with Hindus, Muslims and others, for example, if you see yourself as Hindu only, giving importance to your being a Hindu and nothing else, we will say that you see yourself in singular terms. If you see yourself not only a Hindu but belonging to, say, any state, Maharashtra, and a proud Indian, we will say that you have a multiple identity. You are not sticking to one identity here. Let us now understand inclusive and exclusive. We all know the meaning of including and excluding. Imagine you are the eldest of 3 brothers and sisters. Someday guests come to your house with lot of sweets. You immediately grab the sweet packet and say, I am the eldest and so I will have all of them. Here you are not only perceiving yourself singularly but you are exclusive also. You don't want to share the sweets with others. You are excluding others. On the contrary, if you share the sweets with everyone in the family, you are inclusive. If the government takes care of all its groups, linguistic, regional or religious, then we call the policies of the government inclusive. If it shows its interest only towards a particular group, disregarding other groups, then the policies of the government will be called exclusive. I hope you understood these terms. So, as long as people of Northern Ireland call themselves as only Catholic or Protestant, their differences were difficult to reconcile. It is much easier if the people see their identities are multiple and are complementary with the national identity. This is how people in our country see their identity. They think of themselves as Indian as well as belonging to a state or a language group or a social or religious community. Secondly, it depends on how political leaders raise the demands of any community. It is easier to accommodate demands that are within the constitutional framework and are not at the cost of other community. What is the meaning of within the constitutional framework? It means what lies within the constitutional provisions. It means what is permissible by the constitution. It means what it can give you. Why asking such things which constitution cannot give? Raising such demand will create tension and may lead to division and distrust among different communities. Also, you can't raise such demands which, if fulfilled, other communities will have to suffer. This is the meaning of not at the cost of the other communities. The demand for only Sinhala was at the cost of the interest and identity of the Tamil community in Sri Lanka. In Yugoslavia, the leaders of different ethnic communities presented their demands in such a way that those could not be accommodated within the country. Let's see the third factor now. How the government reacts to the demands. As we saw in the example of Belgium and Sri Lanka, if the rulers are willing to share power and accommodate the reasonable demands of minority community, social differences become less threatening for the country. If the demands are reasonable, the demands must be met by the government. But if they try to suppress such a demand in the name of national unity, the end result is quite often the opposite. That is what we saw in the case of Sri Lanka. Use of force should be the last option. Such attempts at forced integration often sow the seeds of disintegration. Lastly, I shall conclude with whether political expression of social division is beneficial in a country. The answer is yes. In a democracy, political expression of social divisions is very normal and can be healthy. In the case of India or Belgium, it has been observed that social diversities can be accommodated in a positive manner. This allows disadvantaged and marginal social groups to express their grievances and get the government to attend them. Such an expression often results in their cancellation and reduces intensity. This leads to strengthening of democracy. But the accommodation of diversity does not come easily. People who feel marginalized, deprived and discriminated have to fight against the injustice. They have to voice their demands in a constitutional manner and seek a fair position through election. This closes your lesson, Democracy and Diversity. But before we close, let us have a recap. I will start with social differences first. Social differences are the situations where people are discriminated against on the basis of social, economic or racial inequality. On the other hand, social divisions mean division of a society on the basis of social differences like language, region or race. Social differences can be easily accommodated with some reservation policies, but social division sometimes leads to political division of the country. What does politics do to these social divisions? If political parties start competing in terms of some existing social divisions, it can make social divisions into political divisions and lead to conflict, violence, or even in disintegration of the country. Recall the examples of Northern Ireland and Yugoslavia. Then, what are the factors that decide the outcome of politics of social division? First of all, how people perceive their identities. Second, how political leaders raise the demands of the community. Third, how the government reacts to the demand of different groups. The political expression of social division is very normal and healthy in a democracy. This allows the disadvantaged groups to express their grievances and get the government to attend to these. Students, now you should be able to answer these questions. How do social divisions affect politics? Give 2 examples. Social divisions can affect political divisions and lead to conflict, violence or even disintegration of the country. So explain this with the examples of Northern Ireland and Yugoslavia. Then, social divisions affect voting in many countries. People from one community tend to prefer a party more than others. In many countries, there are parties that focus only on one community. Question number 2. Political competition along religious and ethnic lines led to the disintegration of which country into 6 independent countries? Yugoslavia. Discuss the 3 factors that determine the outcome of politics of social division. This is a long question, so refer to the recap again and explain it yourself. With this, I finish democracy and diversity lesson. How did you like the lesson? Was it worthy? Did it benefit you? I wish to know from you. Let's hope to develop a healthy relationship between us. Be courteous, ask relevant questions. I will try my best to answer. Your likes and comments motivate me to prepare the lessons better. Thank you. We will meet soon with a new topic.